And welcome you to another Mob Candy magazine. I'm Frank DiMatteo, publisher. To my left is Chris Chiarmonte, my partner.
They always butcher that name at work. At work, they butcher that name.
Do they?
It's almost. I'm like, I just say chair. I just tell them chair. Monte. Yeah, I mean whatever.
Don't worry about it. I couldn't. Gianni was.
No, it doesn't matter. 16 years. We're together. How long?
Gianni was over the house the other day. I forgot his name all day.
Oh, that's great.
Terrible. He's my grandson.
Well, my grandmother used to do that too.
Yeah.
Just call each one of us a different name, and then all three names, and then say whatever. It doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah, getting bad.
So, I've noticed from putting a lot of clips on the Mob Candy magazine TV show Facebook page that some people, they didn't even understand the difference that there was a podcast or a TV show out there and the reason behind it. And then the opposite, there was a lot of people that that knew about it from the new episodes, but didn't know that there was a magazine.
Right.
And so, for the most part, I mean, it got a lot of publicity during The Sopranos and stuff like that. But
Definitely.
And even towards the other mob shows that were on the air later, like the Mob Wives, and during the Jersey Shore. I think we were gonna.
We were on everything, man. We were on Mob Wives.
Yeah. Yeah, we did 3 episodes or something on Mob Wives.
Yeah, we did. We filmed her. I was on one of the
Karen, right?
Karen and
we filmed
Mona. Mona.
Yeah,
I did a show with them at the Mob Museum in New York.
Oh yeah, with Nash.
Yeah,
kid, right?
And then we filmed her for the cover.
Right.
So we've been around them a lot.
They walked with you through the museum,
right?
And discussed the
right Mona, and I think it was Karen.
Yeah, Karen.
Yeah.
And then
we shot.
We did a
Renee.
photo shoot.
Then we shot Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Renee on. The Mob Candy magazine. We're gonna film
November 22nd.
Yeah, and I don't know when it's gonna air, but shortly after that, after we edit it, we'll. So they'll be getting more of Renee Graziano, which has kind of not been in the spotlight for so long. Like where is she now? Like
exactly.
Which is pretty interesting. She even looks completely different.
Yeah, I was with her like a couple weeks ago.
She lost like 60 pounds.
Yeah, she got her act together. That's what she told me.
Yeah.
She was going through some hard times.
She looks good.
She looked good. Yeah. Looks good. Heads together, and she's back with a.
Maybe I could squeeze the question. That question I've been wanting to ask her for so long.
Why?
Like, why did you?
Why'd you do that?
Why'd you steal the Mob Candy name for the?
Yeah, and they're gonna say, "Well, you didn't have that."
I'm happy. If she doesn't walk out on us, I'm happy. If she answers the question, I'll be happy.
Yeah, well, she's gonna have a reason. Everybody's got a reason for something.
Right.
So
the magazine itself, can you take me through the birth of the magazine, the inception of the very thought of the magazine?
Okay. The very thought of the magazine started in 2007. It was, the idea was a clothing company, Mob Candy Clothing Company. I was approached by my first partner, Tyrone, and he wanted some help with helping get a brand off for the clothing. So I went back to some people, and they told me, Frankie, boy, forget about it because it's too hard, it's seasonal, you need a ton of money in it. So I went back and met him the next week at a place called Sushi Sambas in New York, and I told him, Ty, I can't help you. So he's okay. He goes, but I got an idea for a magazine, He says, you want to do a magazine? I told him, not really. I mean, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? He said, don't worry about it. He goes, I'll make notes. We can sit around. I'll ask you questions, and I'll formulate a magazine. I said, okay, there's certain things I won't do and say. I said, I won't say anything about anybody who's current.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to get no headaches. I don't want to talk about anything. Who's got court cases? Who's active in the mob? I don't talk about that, and I'm not doing that.
I mean, it had to be probably one of the toughest situations where you're thinking to yourself, how the hell am I going to talk about stories in a magazine that are going to be published forever about a life that I was in?
So I had to learn how to be evasive and talk about stuff that's interesting without, getting myself in any trouble.
Right.
You know?
Well, you were still called a rat.
Well,
But I'm talking about by the critics.
I mean,
And some that maybe just think that you shouldn't say the word at all.
Well, there's some guys are very stickler. Some guys you can't do nothing. Other guys want to give me stories, and they were made guys.
Right.
So I take it all with a grain of salt. One guy wants to tell me a story, and one guy says, you can't do that because you're too close.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a rat. I was just too close. And he said, you just shouldn't be doing that, talking about anything.
Oh, definitely to say that you did not a rat. I'm saying
just
the feedback.
that I shouldn't be talking about anything.
If you go on the Facebook, the Mob Candy Magazine TV show Facebook page, which now has 14,000 new followers from the content that I've been putting out there, you do get the whole variety from A to Z of, big fans of the magazines that are like, they're loving that it's a TV show now. They're loving that it's a podcast.
And then you get the morons.
And then you get all the morons, which they almost seem to repeat themselves. It's the same, whatever, 20 people that keep trolling into the same. And that's their thing.
And they're really stupid because their statements are stupid.
It's always the same thing. You're talking about it. You're supposed to be a secret society, underground stuff like that. Let's just dabble into that really quick. I mean, even though the mob and La Cosa Nostra, Omerta, all this stuff is an underground society by notion and by reality, it's changed.
It changed a long time ago. It changed when Hollywood grabbed it and made it so popular. It changed when John Gotti, even Costello. Costello couldn't move without cameras up his ass. And they say he brought the mob in, too popular. But the guy couldn't move from a camera every time he moved. Right. So he's stuck in it. John the same way. John flashy, but there was a camera up his ass 7 days a week, 25 hours a day. What are you supposed to do? Yeah. So the media brought it out, and so you got to run with the ball. And then when all the informants and came out and became popular, because now they get a pass, they can say anything and make it entertainment. Right. And mob enthusiasts want to hear things, always want to hear things from movies on.
Tell me stories. Next thing you know, they're writing a book. Right. The next thing you know, they're telling a story on a documentary. Right. And the next thing you know, they're podcasters. Like literally, if you look on the internet now, there are hands down 5 to 10, maybe even 20 old, retired wise guys, maybe even guys that are still, know people, whatever. Maybe. I hope they wouldn't be as active as probably, but now they're podcasters.
I didn't do nothing, and I can't sit with them. Right. So these guys have no more friends. They have no more friends. Yeah. Because also most of those guys put a lot of guys away in jail. Right. And they get a pass, and they can say anything they want. They can make these embellished stories up about baseball batting people and killing people and doing this. They can do that because they have a free hand. The law gave them a free hand to make an entertainment. Right. I don't have that. Right. So I always had to watch my P's and Q's of what I said and who I said about for the magazine. Right. And then the books.
So what brought you to, let's say, the books, writing the books?
Well, we're doing the magazine for like 8 years already. And what happened was, I don't know, somebody around me grabbed me and said that you got to, all these stories, man. All these stories. Why don't you put it in paper? And I says, hey, I don't know how to even freaking write, man. Yeah,
said, all capital letters.
All capital letters, run-on sentences, no commas, no periods, no nothing. So what I did was I started writing, just remembering things as a kid, and I started making notes up, and then
Michael Benson.
I think no. What I did was, then I went back in the line in the basement. Then I went back and tried to clean it up myself, and I cleaned it up myself. The line
you have
in the
a line in the basement.
You got right there,
right?
Yeah, the line in the basement. What happened was I went back and I tried to clean it up as best I could, and I said, I'm going to let it out. So I self-published it, right? And what it is just me telling stories of what I seen, and it did well. I self-published it. Keniston Books found it in the
because when you self-publish, it hits all these press releases and stuff like that.
They found it. They loved it.
Yeah.
They came back to me and gave me a contract to write the book.
Right. So the Lion in the Basement
Yes. Is
turned into
right.
Growing Up Mafia.
Right. The only difference is I got 132 pictures. They got 10 because that's their format. And we had to add another chapter to Growing Up Mafia.
Yeah, and then they had the professional,
Then Mike
editor.
Benson cleaned it all up.
Yeah, he
did
did all the mistakes,
Yes.
which were a lot. When you self-publish, none of that stuff
I
matters.
made a ton of mistakes, as far as.
But there was tons of people that read your self-published stuff and loved the fact they were reading it from
the way I speak.
It sounded like you were from.
Exactly.
It read like the reading was from South Brooklyn.
Right, like I'm telling you a story now. I wrote it the way I spoke.
Yeah.
If I told a story, I told it like I speak. So
and I think that that became your thing.
niche, yeah. That's why I did
when
in
it
all
comes
the
to
books.
writing.
Yeah.
And then Kennington is just. I mean, how often they ask you almost every year to write another one, right?
From that one book, I'm up to seven books with them. And you can't. Let me tell you something. It's hard to get a contract with to write books with this. They got to sell, otherwise they don't come back to you.
Yeah, no, they're moving.
They move.
Anybody that Googles any one of these, some of them make their way to the bestseller.
Well, everyone was a bestseller on
in the true crime.
In the true crime, every one of them was a bestseller.
Yeah,
At
absolutely.
one point, and then they just come back and do another one. I got 3 more coming out. We got 3 more books coming out, one every year for the next 3 years.
Right.
So, and that's why I wound up writing the book. And the book wound up being me telling the original book of stories. I didn't go in there and embellish that I was an enforcer for the Gallows, or I was a hitman, or I killed 5 people, or everybody come to me. I didn't embellish nothing. I told stories about characters that I grew up with because my father wound up being a bodyguard for Larry Gallo in 1960-61.
These are your stories to tell.
Right. And I didn't embellish nothing. I told
Everybody
funny
can
stories.
tell a story and make money, but not you.
Yeah. No, I can't do nothing. The News, the Post, the Times, million writers can write very bad things about people that they
Manipulate.
did this and they did that, or they got accused of doing this. I never wrote nothing like that. I wrote about dead people. They write when they're alive, and they make people look bad. I wrote everything about everybody dead.
Right.
I made sure that no one could get a headache. And I told funny stories.
The least as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe there's grandkids involved.
Well, that's too bad. I mean, that's
at some point.
we are who we are.
Right.
You can't hide that.
Right.
I
mean, nowadays it's like Cowboys and Indians, right?
Yeah.
It's a mainstream true crime genre.
But I really
the Mafia.
But I
the
don't.
Mafia is now a true crime.
It is. It's open book.
Entertainment industry.
It's open book. You got these guys on TV now tell other people's stories, different families, different outfits, those details about people. When I was, you're supposed to know no one's business. I tell stories about the Gallows because that's who I know.
That's
you know what I mean. Growing up with them, what they did, the mannerisms, the characters, their nicknames.
When you were writing the magazine, when you were publishing the magazine, the Gallows, some of the Gallows obviously were still alive. Right. Did you have any problems with that? With them?
Blast, Albert, and Stevie approached me and said, "Frankie boy, you can't be around if you're going to be writing books in the public eye, because now you're an author, you're a publisher of a magazine. We can't sit down and have dinners together because they're taking pictures of you all around the place. I was taking pictures of everywhere I go.
I know.
We can't sit down. It'll look bad for them. They say, not that you're doing nothing wrong. They think we're doing something wrong by sitting with you."
Oh, I know.
So I said, "Okay, what do you
Plus
want to do?"
the eyeballs all over the place.
Right. So I said,
and
"What
they
do
were
you
still
do?"
active.
He goes, "You need anything, you call, but no more sitting down having dinners and stuff like that. That's over with." And that's what happened. No one called me up. They didn't like what I did because it was historical. There's nothing in any of the magazines that we talked about anything up to date.
I think there might have been 1 or 2 things where I remember I was working in Joseph Avenue where someone said, like, make sure they don't use my name or something like that.
Right. Some people are scared.
Don't mention my name.
They were worried.
Tell your father-in-law don't put my name in the magazine.
Right.
They don't want.
They worried about what if I knew something that I was going to come out with it.
Yeah.
But I never came out with nothing.
No, that's not what we did.
I came out with stuff in the book that people are dead.
Yeah.
That I was privy to certain things that no one knew who did certain things.
And your father gave you permission to speak about it when he died.
My father had an article in the book. Yeah. He had an article in the book. The Injustice of the Justice System, I think, was his article. Right. In the magazine. So I had no problem with nobody. No one approached me. Guys approached me. Wise guys approached me and wanted to tell me stories on the low. Right.
So people who have been following you now, they know they've Googled Frank DiMatteo.
Right.
They know your father was pretty much a killer for all the 5 families. You know,
He wound up being with everybody. He wound up from one place to another place because he was very good what he did, and people ex favors. You know.
Yeah.
My father was.
But rumor has it he possibly, and when I say rumor, I mean I think I read a small little snippet in the book that indicates that he was on the Persico hit.
Carmine Persico, yes.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that hit from
what I heard
from
of
its inception?
Is that after the Joey and those guys, the Gallo brothers, were trying to break away from Pafaci, and Carmine and Sally D and those guys were all friends, all together in the same crew. They were telling Joey and Larry that they were supporting them on a breakaway, or to get to Joe Pafaci for him to give them more action so they could earn better. And they wound up going to Tony Benda and a few guys in the Genovese family, whoever was skippers and captains. They went to get some support, which they were getting a lot of support. In between, Carmine gets called in by Joe Pafaci, and Pafaci tells him, "You're gonna lose. We got 300 guys. There's 40. You come over here. We'll make you earn good, and you don't stay with Joey and Larry." And he wound up doing that. Larry didn't notice. Larry gets called to the Sahara Bar in Flapashervino to meet Carmine and John or Sally D and those guys. And he goes there by himself because there was no one around on President Street. No one was around, and Blast was around, and Larry.
You like to travel alone?
No, but he wasn't afraid. No one. He trusted these guys. They came up together, did a lot of work together, and he had no reason to think they were going to do that. They just were bad, and they did it. So anyway, there was no one there to drive. No one was around, and except the young guys. We were too young to drive. Coco, Gombadil, Frankie Prosciutto, me. We were too young to drive, so they didn't want us to go. So Larry said, "I'm going to go. I take the car. I'm going to go myself." Because Blast couldn't go with him. They will never go two together.
How come that happened?
Huh?
No, they never traveled together.
Never.
Two Gallos.
They wouldn't go together on anything. They were different cars, different that, because they didn't want to get hit together. So they always thought it was good not to go together. So Larry goes to the Sahara, which is a story. He goes in there. He winds up getting strangled to death, almost to death, by Carmine Persico and Sal and Johnny. I can't think of Johnny. Scamoni, I think his last name was, because John was speaking to Larry all the time, saying that we're getting support. Come down, I made some money. Come down, pick up some money. Boom, 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 because they needed some money at the time I was laying up, and they wind up strangling him, and he wind up living because a cop came in. They shot the cop, and they go to court. They shot a cop coming in.
A cop was just
happened to come in because the place was open an hour before it's supposed to be, and it was a beat cop came in. He knew the owner. And he saw Larry's legs on the floor behind him.
So if that cop never walked in, they would have killed Larry.
Oh, Larry was dead, yeah. It was close to death then. But he just made it. And they arrest Larry for material witness. Because he said, "I don't know who strangled me." But they arrested him anyway and wanted him to testify. And they wound up arresting him. And he denied everything.
Wow.
Going to court, they wound up picking up, when Larry was coming out of court on that, what's his name? Carmine was going in court. Punchy saw Carmine coming in as they were going out and called him a fucking snake. He goes, "You're a fucking snake," and that's how Carmine got that name.
So basically,
Frankie Iliano said that in court, coming out of court, and that's how that whole thing with Carmine the Snake.
He was
started.
part of the crew too, Punchy.
It was Punchy,
Iliano is the same last name as the Armando, the middle midget.
Cousins.
They were cousins.
Larry's, Punchy's father and Mondo's father brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that's interesting. You write that about it in the book,
yes.
too.
Yeah. So that's how he got the name the Snake. And then after that, they kept on shooting each other.
Yeah.
After that, again, they set up.
So I was going to say, how'd your dad
Larry,
get involved?
Punchy, Larry, and a couple other guys. I think Chico, the guy Chico was with them at the time. And another shooter on that. I can't think who it was. I think it was Louis Abella. Yeah. Larry said that would
Is that the Syrian?
Louis the Syrian
Yeah,
father.
we had his son on the
Yes.
podcast.
Yes,
Wow.
his father, which I was very close to. Anyway, they got together. Larry said he wants them dead. So they went. They got a van. They got guns. They got this. They, followed his pattern, and they went to go kill him. And
They got him.
they shot him, but he didn't die. They shot him, and I think Sally D, his driver, and he lived.
Okay.
They didn't finish the job. That's the problem, man. They should have got out and finished the job. But you're not there doing it. It's probably nerve-wracking. It is Carmine shooting.
Did you ever hear your father talk about that? Besides, just curious.
Yeah, he was upset that they didn't finish the job. That was it. But these guys don't elaborate and sit down and say,
I know.
I shot thing like that. It's always hand gestures or that guy or somebody else would mention, on that thing.
Yeah.
But no one actually sit
But
down.
you know
and
he
says
was
that.
frustrated
But we know
that
what we're talking
he
about.
didn't
Yeah, he
finish
was
the job.
frustrated, Yeah, he was frustrated not to finish it off. Why? Yeah, I never heard why they, maybe he thought that with the shotgun blast and he was hit good, what I mean? So maybe, you want to get in and out there. You want to get in and out,
Yeah.
So, but they fucked that up, and that's what happens.
All the guys you hung out with, see, a lot of people, they also don't know that, where I can imagine people who watch the show are like, but who's this guy? I know they know I'm your son-in-law, but who the hell am I? And it's funny because I do have a mob history past, but my mob history past is all entertainment.
Right.
I made a video game called Mafia Life, which competed with Mafia Wars a long time ago.
I know it well.
And it did very well. And I was promoting the magazine when I first met you.
Right.
And I was promoting the magazine in the game, and then you were doing ads. And I met Tyrone Christopher that time also, because I remember you had the whole structure where, I had to go talk to Ty.
Right. Everybody went through Ty or somebody like that.
Which was I felt was great.
I never took care of that stuff. That wasn't my thing.
He handled it. Which I guess you could say now I'm the one handling
same thing
all
you
that
do
stuff
now.
too.
I still don't do that. You know what I mean?
So for me, it's just all like like a true crime. I'm a history buff.
Right.
I'm not a history expert,
right.
But I find entertainment value, and I like to say that pretty much almost everybody in their mother who knows about Mob Candy magazine at least heard it from something that spearheaded on social media that I started. I'm the one that tells everybody about the magazine. But I mean, you did a lot of lately, especially lately, since becoming an author. You almost got branded as the expert in Gallo history on the History Channel. You've been on National Geographic,
Scary Tales of New York.
Yeah, I mean, and all the podcasters now. So I went back and I'm regurgitating all that information.
Discovery Channel, November 25th. That's what I'm trying.
These are top, stations. So they are recognizing you.
I mean, no one's questioned me. I mean, I'm around 18 years doing this stuff.
Right. And then we got together. I married your daughter, and we're trying to get rich here.
Right.
And
before I die,
we came close. We almost had a reality TV show.
We had one.
I mean, there's no one in the world got closer to having a reality TV show than us. I mean, straight out.
E Entertainment gave us a 12 episode contract that Whoopi Goldberg blew.
Yeah, she blew it.
Yep.
But originally we love her,
and I sued her.
We love her.
I lost.
Yeah, we said right. She went into Barnes and Noble,
right?
Found the magazine,
right?
Loved it,
right?
And had the lawyers contact us,
right?
And I've been back and forth with not recently when it happened. I mean, this was how many years ago?
2011.
2011. Yeah. So you're talking about 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Basically, we went back and forth. I pretty much jumped on board as a showrunner because they realized that I had that talent to do, what I've been doing. And we pretty much made all the episodes, all the topics. I gave them everything they wanted, back and forth. And then they tell us, they send us, they had the PR people that came with signed contracts, the agencies that signed contracts. They came down and said, are you ready for all the, fake relatives to come out of the woodwork?
Everything.
And this, that, and the other thing. And then I was privy, I'll never forget it. I was privy to an email that came across, if you remember correctly, the guy Glenn Meehan. He was the producer of the Little People, Big
Small,
World,
yeah, right. Yeah.
And he's the one that teamed up with Whoopi Goldberg.
Right.
They created an incorporation called Whoop Inc.
Right.
And Whoop Inc. was our producers at the time.
Yes.
They were going to produce this show. So, and I was privy to the email that went straight to them from the E! Network stating, okay, we're ready. Can you have episode done by like March 1st or whatever the date was?
Right. I remember well.
And Whoopi's people said, we can't. We need 30 days. All my production team is doing Sister Act on Broadway. I need some time. Can we have it the month after that?
Right.
And their response was, no thanks, we'll pass.
Exactly.
And they never responded to another email ever again. I was fascinated by the cutthroat. That's the first lick that I got of the cutthroat businesses.
Oh, yeah, man. You're at their mercy.
And then I would try to communicate with Tom Leonardis, which was her partner at the time and lawyer, and I would get no response from them. And then I was trying to talk to Glenn, like, because I was almost every day with him, and it was like nothing.
And he couldn't do nothing?
Nobody can respond back to them. The E! Network wouldn't answer, and it was done. It was done. We even scrambled to try to find another producer.
Yes.
And we found, I believe, the guy...
Joe Dinky.
We found Joe Dinky. But before Joe Dinky, we had the guy who produced Entourage.
That's right.
The brother.
Right.
Not the one who produced Entourage, but his brother had a production company. Right. He was like, tell Whoopi...
to release it.
I can have the episode done by the 1st. Or tell them to go back to the E! Network. You can use my production company. They were going to, set up some type of partner. They were not interested. No. Whoopi's people was like, no. So they were not interested in carrying. So we had to sit on a project for 5 years and not have any production company. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if we were blacklisted, but it's crazy to think that a family of 5, a grandmother, you, mommy, me, my wife, Christina, and Frank, and Maddie, and everybody put a magazine together that a big company like Condé Nast, takes a million of people to do. And we were hanging out in bars, putting this magazine together. And hands down, this magazine is seriously, quality stuff.
Yeah, we had it.
And the reality show of being able to follow us around and the personality of what goes on in our family would have been really good. To have it on the E! Network would have been great.
Interesting.
If anyone's out there and they want to do a real reality show about a Mob Candy magazine, hit me up. It's due now. There's no more contracts. We could get something. We could get rich here, people.
Remember the one we wanted to do? I wanted Uncle Frankie goes on a boat to Cuba. I want to go. I took the kids on. I want to go on with my grandchildren, and we get stopped by the Coast Guard because they asked, where you going? I said, I want to go to Cuba. Yeah, you can't do that.
It would have been great.
Just
Oh, nowadays with the way it was,
it would have been pisser. It would have been fun, but
you'd be like
the big boys run everything, man. That's what happens. That's why I had the words with her. I sued her. I lost. And then I told Tom I wanted the footage. He told me they own it. And I said, well, no one's going to own it if I don't get it in 24 hours.
Right.
And he sent it over.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we
remember
have the footage.
that too. Yeah.
And that's what happens when you...
They wanted $5,000 for that.
Yeah, I would get them. Yeah, okay. That's not going to work. But
Mob Candy magazine came a long way.
Oh, yeah.
David, the producer, fantastic guy, David Zucker, and Liza Galazzo. They're great people, and they constantly calling it a TV show because I know that they're in their heart they want this to be, a TV show, a Mob Candy magazine TV show.
Right.
But really, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And right now it's a YouTube channel.
Right.
Well, we're gonna keep the energy the right way. We're gonna call it Mob Candy Magazine TV, and this was another episode of Mob Candy Magazine TV. We got to probably take a break.
Sure.
And then we'll come back.
And we'll give you some more information.
Yeah, we got more information.
We're taking a break. We'll be right back.